Yes, we're back.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Long time no see. Before we begin, we got a tagline for this movie, and it's "Long live the fighters." What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, sure. I will say my piece after we start.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's fun to be back. Hold on to your seats because MovieByte podcast starts right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very exciting episode of MovieByte podcast. I am your host, Ruben, and with me, I got my brother in arms, the Russian / the last movie critic. How you doing, brother? It's been a long time.
I mean, I'm all right. I just watched Dune Part 2, so could have had a better day, but since you picked this one, we're gonna roll with the punches.
I mean, you had such a great time bashing Dune Part 1 3 years ago when we were doing this. I figured it would be perfect to come back and talk about Part 2 and have you have your fun with it, as I believe you actually will have. So, ladies and gentlemen, in case you did not know, we are going to be discussing Dune Part 2 today. A lot has happened since we did this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's been, 2 years since we last got together? We did Starship Troopers.
It was just yesterday. Come on, time flies by.
A lot has happened since then, right? You just came back from a trip from your hometown, right? Your homeland?
Homeland was fun.
Before we begin, how was that? How was your trip, bro?
It was good. I actually watched the exceptional movie there. It was the movie theater with seven people in it, and 5 tickets I bought, and I took my family to watch the movie, and they asked me who were the other 2 who I invited, how they end up in our private screening. But yeah, that was Civil War, which is an exceptional movie. I hope we talk about that one at some point in our maybe this season, maybe next one. But yeah,
I mean, people are gonna be asking what was that movie that you watched?
Civil War.
Oh, great, from Alex Garland.
He's back. His previous Man was horrible. He finally made a redemption in my eyes. I know a lot of people have problems with this one, but again, we'll talk about it at some other time. Let's just dive in. Let's focus on Dune Part 2. I got a lot of things to say. I'll let you start with the positive. I'll be positive from the beginning. I'm not gonna rip.
Feel free to do your thing. I understand if you were not a fan of it. But let's dive in, okay? First of all, Dune Part 2, directed by Denis Villeneuve. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. French director who is very famous for movies like Sicario, Incendies, Prisoners, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Dune Part 1, obviously. And it stars Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Rebecca Ferguson, Austin Butler, Christopher. It has an amazing cast. I think they hired every possible actor available in Hollywood right now that's on the top of the list. It's on this movie. It's a full-flooded cast. More people were added for this second part than they were not in the Part 1. Obviously, it's based on the book of the same name by Frank Herbert that was released in the early 60s or mid-60s. Correct me, anybody that's watching us, if I'm right or wrong. It opened up on March 1st of this year, 2024. It opened up number 1 in the box office, and it has so far grossed $708.2 million. It is the highest grossing film of 2024 so far. The year has only begun, but it's already the number 1 film worldwide this year out of a budget of $190 million. A little bit of history about this movie. This movie was first going to be released in November of 2023, but because of the actors' strike going on, they had to delay the release of the movie till March. Because for those who didn't know, actors are unionized workers, so they couldn't promote their film while they were on strike as part of their agreements with their unions, and that's what's going on. That's a little background music. A little threw me off. So, other than that, it opened up to
The
very.
time with the Oscars, you have to.
I know, right?
Speed up your speech. Just.
I know. It was like cut it out. It's time to go, right?
Too much away.
It opened up to critical response, rave reviews. Cinema Score gave it an A to an A+ from viewers. Richard Roper gave it 3 out of 4 stars. Spielberg praised it as one of the best movies he's seen in a while. Especially on this past COVID decade. Part 2 came to fruition thanks to many viewers that saw Part 1 on Max, HBO Max, in 2021 when the first movie was released as part of a deal that Warner Brothers had with HBO to simultaneously release movies in theater and in Max to stream at the same time. It is because of that success that about a week later, they greenlighted Part 2. And they started production in 2022 and ended up in early 2023. And on March 1st, we got Dune Part 2. Overall, it's written by Jon Spaihts, who has written movies like Doctor Strange, Dune Part 1, Prometheus. Okay.
Not a great list.
I knew you were going to say something. And then
I gave you the floor for 5 minutes.
And it's shot by Greg Fraser, who won an Oscar for Dune Part 1 for his photography. He also shot The Batman, Rogue One, and The Creator, among a few of his credited films. So I think we can both agree, and correct me if I'm wrong, brother, photography in this movie is something else.
I mean, we're gonna praise everything when it comes down to cinema, starting from the way how it looks, like cinematography, photography, score. Like, you cannot get better. Like, this is a marvel. It looks beautiful. You can just turn off the volume if you don't want to hear Zendaya talk, but if you want to hear the Hans Zimmer music, I guess you can mismatch the subtitles or whatever, but it's something. That's why it hurts me so much. Like, we could have buried it back when Dune 1 showed up on HBO Max and just unsubscribed, and maybe we never had to witness this. Like, it's just a shame to me. It's such a beautiful movie, which could have been true masterpiece in my eyes. Again, I know the reviews, 8.7 rating on IMDb. Everybody loves it. But let me just start with my view.
Let's go.
How I take this movie.
Let's begin. Let's go.
All right. So it's a little kid who has rich parents, and he's playing imaginary war with his toy soldiers. It's all this movie is for 2 hours, or whatever, how many 2.5 hours this lasts. You mentioned the cast. The cast is phenomenal. Like, every name there deserves the recognition, except the Euphoria girl. But I'll get to her in a minute.
Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya, whatever. But here's the problem. The first problem which arrives automatically. It's like you have Javier Bardem, who is like, yeah, look at that. Okay, Javier Bardem, who is just spectacular here. Like, he takes his acting to like another level. Like, he's 11 out of 10. Like, he overshadows everybody. His performance is just on another planet. Like, he's having fun with the character. He's delivering. Like, he's just unbreakable. And then you have, again, I have to point out our girl, who for the first half was okay. Even the act 2, she was still holding together. I even kind of sort of started to believe in their connection with Timothy, but really not really. But the last part is just completely awful. So that's my take on the acting. Like, acting is all over the place. Like you have great performances and you have completely horrible performances. And you have Timothée Chalamet, who plays the same character he played in The King, which is a Netflix movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend. Like it's the same character, same, I guess, persona he portrays here, and I mean, it's the same Neo story. It's the same Messiah, same Jesus story. It's the little boy who didn't want to have great powers comes into terms of having great powers and how he deals with that. That's what we're witnessing in the part 2, at least, from, hey, I don't want to be Messiah, to like yelling at the end, which I'm also going to get to that part as well. So that's just my kind of take on overall. We can take it apart on the aspect of cinema. It's up to you how you're going to roadmap this one.
I got you. So for those who are tuning in or listening right now, obviously part 2, it is a continuation of the story. It's not a sequel. It is still the same movie, but there is so much to cover that it had to be divided in 2 parts, which is fair. I read the book, and the book is very extensive. Now, granted, there are some things that were left out in the book that are not in the movie, and there are things that they took liberty to change for the dramatic purposes of the movie that are not in the book, right? Obviously, I mean, I'm just going to read what IMDb posts, what the plot of this movie, so everybody understands where we're coming from. So Paul Atreides, who is the character played by Timothée Chalamet, unites with Chani, who is played by Zendaya, and the Fremen, who is the kind of like the alien race that Zendaya is part of, right? And they live all on the planet of Arrakis, who their main produce is spice, and spice is the source of everything in this universe of Dune. So while on the warpath of revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family, who in this case are the Harkonnens, that's the rival family, facing the choice between the love of his life and the fate of the known universe, he endeavors to prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. All right. Obviously, IMDb is playing it out safe because there's a lot more to the story than what I just read to you all.
Wait, do you believe there's a story?
Can you then let me just do my part and then you can destroy it, okay? I know you're ready. I know you're ready to destroy the story.
Sorry, okay, go.
So whoever has seen part 1 goes from trying to understand what all these families are. It's like watching Game of Thrones, but in freaking space and sandworms, because you have so many different houses in this film and in the book itself. You know, you have the Atreides, you have the Harkonnens, you have the Fremen. And it goes on beyond the other books, if I believe. I only read the first one, and that's where I'm going to stop, right? But the part 1, you're introduced to these characters. You're introduced to Paul Atreides, who is this kid who's growing up, like you said, a little rich boy growing up with toys, and he's growing up with this thought of like, oh, I'm led to believe I'm going to lead the great people of my people and so on. And then they get betrayed. They go on. Him and his mother become refugees, pretty much, and that's pretty much part 1. Part 2 picks up right where part 1 left, and we have him creating this little love story between him and Zendaya's character Chani, to the point that then he discovers that for me to save the people, I have to fulfill the prophecy. And I want to dive in later on, like what this prophecy is and what are the symbolisms that I understood this is coming from, and I have articles that can vouch for that. But let's break down the story. So what are your thoughts about the story on Dune Part 2? I know you're not a fan of Dune Part 1. And whoever wants to know his reasonings about Part 1, it's in our YouTube channel, MovieByte Podcast on YouTube. One of our most viewed videos. Please take a look, as much as I enjoy Part 1, he took the chance to bring some valid points. And I don't fully agree with him, but he had some valid points. But I want to hear, what do you think about Part 2? Because I saw the movie in theaters. I really enjoyed it. I read the book, so I knew what I was expecting. But for someone who has not read the book, how do you perceive the movie?
So first of all, I just want to point out, you kind of took my reference about little kid. It's not Paul Atreides who is little kid. It's Denis Villeneuve, who's the director. But the way you put it, like, it actually works perfectly for this movie as well. So, bravo! It's like, double entendre. I'm just gonna go really quickly over my points, which kind of I was making notes as viewing it for the second time. First time I paid full attention to kind of like understand maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. But after watching for the first time, I understood that, like, no, I gave them way too much credit when I watched it the second time. So first of all, the movie starts with this Baron flying balloons, which just set up the mood for me. Like, especially in the second watch, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't know nothing about this world, but like, this is the first time I see the balloons, and he's like I don't know, not the clown, like not the guy from It, but like he has balloons, and he's like a Baron, like the most dangerous, like the scariest like person on this universe or whatever galaxy. So he's floating on these balloons. It just was hilarious. So I was like, all right, we'll let that one slide. And the next thing, like I was like trying to pay attention, where we're getting tricked as an audience, and then after they have like the little fight, Paul and his mom, Rebecca Ferguson, is hiding, and then they see these two guys who jumped off the cliff. They being attacked, and they try to like attack them. So Paul runs there, grabs the sword, kills the one guy, and another guy is like standing up the hill on this dune, and he's like at least 200, maybe 400 meters away, and he's about to take a shot. And at this point, his mom appears behind him and hits him with the rock. And this scene, like this actual action moment, takes less than 15 seconds. Like, this girl can run, like, especially in sand, especially being pregnant, and then found out the rock. So like, it just logic and physics didn't quite sit well there. There were a few funny moments when they like said, hey, there's like water filled with like people's body water drain, and they have like 38 trillion gallons whatever fucking water, and they can revive this planet and have like forest there. Like, I was on there like, we're not gonna do it because we respect the dead too much. And then she shreds a tear because like it's a sad moment, and Heaven Bird here just wipes the tears. She's like, we do not cry for, don't waste water for dead. And I'm like, what you just said, like, if they dead, just fucking revive the planet. But anyway, so after that, I'm kind of started like paying little less attention. The only thing that really bothered me in the first half was first of all, like, I never understood in the first part and never understood in the second one why they go hand to hand sword fighting when they have like these lasers and fucking atomic weapons. Like, okay, in Star Wars they had lightsabers, they were cool, they cut through steel, like it made sense to fight, and you can get lasers bounced off them. Like, yeah, let's do it. Even the Zack Snyder stole it for his stupid Rebel Moon, but at least, like, hey, Villeneuve made like use grenades, use pistols. Like, why do we always have like, if it's absolutely necessary, hand to hand, like the Elvis when he fought the three other dudes in black and white scene, like, yeah, that scene, like, that was cool. But like, besides that, I did not see the need for it. But okay, so maybe they had to take out the soldiers, then blow up the helicopter, and then take the lasers. All right, that makes sense. But the next scene that they show them attacking again this harvesting unit, they just blow it up with lasers, and there's 5 helicopters flying around it. So it was absolutely not necessary for them to hide on the ground, get out, go run, whatever. I mean, it's just whatever. Artistic approach to plot, fine. It looked awesome. I'll give you that, but it was absolutely not necessary. This guerrilla style hand combat.
Gotcha.
Now, next half of the movie is fantastic. It's all developing Chani and Paul.
Paul's,
has 25 different names. He's like Algazir, Lisbon, Hadam, Assam, like some kind of little mouse.
Yeah.
Like, okay, just
Muad'Dib. Yeah, Muad'Dib is like the mouse
like,
desert. Yeah.
Like, I got lost and they make, like, they mentioned a lot of different names. Like, there's a name for the worm, there's a name for everything, and with time, especially watching it without subtitles, honestly, brother, I got lost what these names represent and who they belong to. I mean, if you read the books, maybe it helps you, but if you didn't, like me, I was like, what is this guy's name? He's like Paul Atreides, and then there's like 25 different names. So I kind of let the second act go. Like, I didn't have much problems with it. And yeah, it is.
Shout out to Stevie.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate you, brother. So the next thing, which like kind of really drives me crazy, is the actual beginning of Act 3. and I believe that's when the Paul drinks the juice, of the snake.
The sandworm, yeah.
Life potion, what they call it, life. Do you remember the name for that blue drink?
It's the water. I think it's called the water of life.
Water of life, something like that.
Something like that, and it's basically a sandworm piss. That's how they describe it throughout the movie.
It's from his insides because they catch the worm and then.
But so it just brings some sort of like awakening to those who drank it, and only those who are kind of like the chosen survive. Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
Well, like
sure.
like fentanyl, which only women can survive because men can't, and obviously, like Paul has to be trans somehow. Like they had to put that in the movie, obviously, for the woke culture to be okay with that because he survived that drink. So I mean, maybe in part 3 we're going to discover something new about the kid, but we didn't hear. But he survives, and then Chani shows up in the helicopter. I'd never seen her fly one, and unless she's Trinity from Matrix, who can just load up the program and fly one, I don't know how she did that, but she did. She flew the helicopter, no more worm rides. Besides, one question about worm rides. Okay, it was cool seeing how he got on one. How do they get off of it? Because later on, they were transferred like families and the entire villages, Ferguson.
Of the sandworms?
Yeah, like what? Like, does it stop or like? Does it get tired? And if it does, like, why don't they just get on it that way, not instead of like?
You're dissecting parts of the movie that nobody's asking.
But somebody has to. It's 8.7. It's a masterpiece. It's out there with Shawshank Redemption. I have nothing to complain about Shawshank Redemption. It's perfectly logically like valid.
So in Shawshank Redemption, you didn't ask how he hung on the poster after he dug the tunnel through the movie. Oh, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Shawshank.
We can actually go to and start digesting that. But hey, listen, somebody has to ask these questions because if we just all bluntly just let them get away, we're gonna end up with where we're at now, where this is #1 movie and everybody's praising it because there's no competition.
What is #1 movie, and the sequel has already been greenlighted.
I know this is another like 10 years of him making this bullshit fucking snake piss movie. Anyway, so Chanti shows up. All right, she like this is my favorite part. It's so hilarious. Like circus just came to town. So she wakes him up. Whatever. There was a kiss. There was no kiss. Who cares? But yeah, like he's up. Now they storm the like. There's a fight. But before there's a fight, everybody came to Arrakis, right? So this, as I'm understanding, it's a hostile planet, right? The war is going on, and yet the Emperor, the Baron, the Emperor's daughter, both of those, like whoever they, cousins, brothers, Elvis and Bautista showed up. Like everybody, the grand, the witch. What is his like the
Bene Gesserit.
But she's like something mother.
The mother. It's like the Mother Reverend.
She's Mother like Reverend, yeah. So she's like, there's a Mother Reverend. Ferguson is Mother Reverend. Everybody's Mother Reverend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like the Mother Reverend site, it's kind of like the High Priest. They're like the ones that control and say this is what we're doing. Because keep in mind, like the Bene Gesserit in the movie are the ones that are implanting the thoughts. They're the ones controlling.
I'll get to them. Just give me a second.
You need a water break because still got.
I mean, just the steam is going. I need to put some water on the coal.
Go for it.
So, you with me so far? Am I missing something? Am I like we watched the same movie, right? This has happened. So on the hostile planet, where they jumped this metal pyramid, right, with some glowing ball on top of it for whatever reason that was glowing. I don't know, but who cares? Inside of the steel carcass pyramid, they sit, they stand there and have their like little discussion, and then the Baron just gets like ambushed and his balloons fly away. Like he's like balloonless now on the floor. Nobody's helping him. He's like all out of his like whatever. Yeah, this dude. Like, look at him. What are you gonna do without these balloons?
Baron Harkonnen, portrayed by Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah.
So now he's on the floor. Outside, we see this massive battle, and the battle is fantastic. But first, they fire like these 3 missiles. Were they nukes? Or did they always have missiles? Like that was, and they missed by a mile. They hit some sand behind the structure, so I don't know where they were firing. And Josh Brolin was saying attack. So I guess his artillery skills, may need some work. But like, just I'm not gonna, compare this to real world scenario where there's actual war going on now. But imagine like the whole Kremlin just shows up in Ukraine and lands there just to have negotiation. Anyway, we're gonna skip that part because the Chani and her troops are like hiding under sand, and they jump out and they're right there, which is a cool scene. But how they got there? Do they have tunnels? Do they just crawl under sand? How long they stay there? Like
so what's
Okay.
what's your problem overall with this? Like
So my problem, it looks awesome, but makes no fucking sense. It's so chaotic, but it's so chaotic bad. And then you see the Paul Atreides shows up like under this dune, and then behind dune, his soldiers start running, and there's like a mile run for them, where these motherfuckers are under sand with their tubes jumping out. Like, I don't know who constructed that attack, but like, and they still won. So that what it says is like the mastery of warfare for these families who have been in war for decades just seem like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Just to me, like, and I'm not battle specialist. Somebody who with that knowledge may double test all that attack, and maybe somebody can break it down. Anyway, long story short, let's get to the final part when Baron is laying down there. Paul comes in, he kicks the door. Some of the guys with against swords, they don't shoot, they don't have weapons. Somebody comes through the door, they jump into the mist, disappear. Paul Atreides comes in, everybody protecting somebody, but not the fucking Baron. Baron just laying there on the steps. He had the idea to climb to the throne for no reason. I don't know what was his expectations. There was a scene where he looked at the throne like he's gonna crawl to it. It's like, ain't no Game of Thrones, bro. That throne ain't gonna save you. Like, save yourself. And then he comes into him, says, "Grandfather, you die like an animal," or whatever. Stabs him in the neck. Like, Baron is dead. Like, all of his plotting, all of his manipulations, all of his world building, just ending on the steps with his balloons being cut and his grandson. He came to the planet where he was with the fucking worms crawling. The guy has a military like so advanced they can. Okay, and then. But let me I'll just finish my rant, and you can defend all the points. We can go through all of this. And then, so there's he tells to the Baron, like, "I'll take your daughter's hand." One thing, like, Zendaya's acting. So she lost her shit like about 2 weeks ago in a time period. As a movie progresses, but it was been already half an hour. Like, this scene not even there. Like, she's been pissed for a long time at him. So finally, when he says, like, "I'll take your daughter's hand," and then her and she has like this twitch in her eye, and I'm fucking dying laughing. Like this girl's getting paid so much money, but she ran out of like the ways to present her anger. I don't know whatever that acting.
So you're not happy with that scene? Because I actually enjoy that scene. I see the betrayal.
It's fantastic. No, I'm saying it's like from the spectacle that this is the best comedy of the year. I was laughing my ass off. Like, especially like when they had a fight, their fucking little sword fucking fight dagger dance, and then he stabs him. Sorry for spoilers. We should have said there's going to be some spoilers. And then as soon as he drops, the fucking Elvis drops, and Javier Bardem yells like, "Listen, Gib," or whatever. Listen, Gib. Like, that was the best.
For those listening, and he continues to reference Elvis, and he's referring to Austin Butler, who played Fade Rotha, who is one of the main villains of Part 2.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, Austin Butler also portrayed Elvis Presley in the 2022 Baz Luhrmann's biopic Elvis. So, just in case anybody out there doesn't want to understand why he keeps calling him Elvis, that's the reason right there.
Okay.
Proceed.
I forgot to mention one best line of this entire movie, which again, Butler, whatever his name is,
Austin Butler, yeah.
Austin Butler delivers. Yeah. He looks at the Zendaya when she's in this manic state, and he goes, "She's your pet." I fucking died on that line when she called her.
I mean, you got to understand that the character's a sociopath. He doesn't see human life the same way that anybody else sees it. Like, to him, they're nothing.
Sure. Sure, like I'm with you. Like he's
Yeah.
my favorite character in the whole fucking movie. And I'm almost there. We're almost to the final stretch, right? So here's my like biggest kind of, we missed that part in the whole scheme, but when Reverend Mother and Emperor's daughter were talking, like, what is our purpose on this fucking world? And she said that all our plans and something, we're involved in everything, and then how we're involved is just these witches just pretty much get pregnant with these powerful guys. Then they have these babies who have like powers, and they plan to control them. So like that's all they do. They just get laid, get pregnant, and then like extort these powerful men for like intergalactic child care, like child support. Like that's their whole plan as me watching it. Like all their little talks and telekinesis, but at the end of the day, that's what they do. Because the Butler's character also impregnate some other Lee. I forgot her name, but like the girl from James Bond and
Léa Seydoux.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
her. Like she got pregnant by this Butler's character.
Yeah.
Right. So Emperor impregnate whoever to give the birth to Ferguson character, to Timothée Chalamet, to Paul's mom. Right.
Yeah.
Am I still understanding this correctly? Right.
Yeah. You're on there. Yeah.
And then Paul is going to impregnate the Danny, the girlfriend of the year from Midsummer.
Yeah.
Our girl,
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh, right? Like that's the whole plot in this whole thing, is as far as I understand. And like it was funny. And when Zendaya left, like her pissed off look was like, "Fuck, we ain't making Euphoria season 3, so I get to be stuck with this bullshit." Like, I mean, again, Zendaya has audience. She's fantastic in Euphoria. Like that's her jam. She should stay with that. I don't think this was a well-written part for her, and I don't blame her. Like she tried. Like it was best she can do with.
She's overrated.
Like that's just my take on the movie, on the plot. I completely didn't feel for it. I did not connect to it.
Yeah.
I understand there's people who praise the story, who love it. This is just my take on it, how I witnessed it, and I apologize if it kind of like triggered anybody's feelings, but this is what it was for me. And since this is the plot that was presented for me, I could not enjoy any of the fight scenes. I couldn't enjoy any of the music. I couldn't enjoy any of the. I enjoyed it from aesthetics, but like if you show me like the painting of Scream, I say yeah, it's art of work, but I will never hang it in my wall. So that just my take on the movie. But
Gotcha.
I'm glad to listen your counterpoints to anything I said.
I mean, listen. You got some views of the story that I'm not gonna say they're wrong. I understand why you see them in that way, and I will agree with you. There are portions of the movie, of the story, that felt either too much or sloppy. There are some dialogues in the movie that you're like, why are they saying that? And I'm going to go with the "is that your pet" line. When I heard that line for the first time when I watched the movie in theaters, I was like, of all the things you can say in the world to sound menacing or look like the threat that you are, you turn around and you just say, "Is that your pet?" Like, the guy just asked for the hand of the Emperor's daughter. Like, why are you referring to other as a pet? Like, no, like, call her something else, like concubine or something else. I think it will have a better effect. To that argument.
Well, he has pets, like his women.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, he just views life that way. For him, probably every human life that is not a Harkonnen is a pet to him, because there is one superior race and it's them, right? If we want to portray it like that, right? I think your views of your story and the sloppiness, or it's credited to the writing, obviously. Dennis or Denise, because I was watching the feature at Denny, right? They call it Denny because I was watching behind the scenes footage the other, and they pronounce it Denny. So Denis Villeneuve, I'm sorry if I'm butchering names. I can't pronounce French, right? This is like his third feature film credit as a writer. Before Dune Part 1 and Part 2, he wrote Incendies. That's it.
Fantastic.
And a couple of other films that he has done that are not mainstream. Every other film that the Villeneuve has gotten his hands on were written by other people. Prisoners, Sicario, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival. They're all written by other people, so it's not his story. It's not his writing. Not taking away the credit that he is most likely a great writer, but I don't think he did a good job adapting a novel and creating the story he created. The action scenes are phenomenal.
Agreed.
The photography is amazing. Like, I mostly enjoy this movie because of how beautiful it looks on the screen. I watched it last night for a second time, and I was still mesmerized the way it is shot. The blend of colors to continue on the same color palette to describe every character. Every character in the movie has its own color palette. And it just brings you the essence and the chemistry that they provide to the story. The story, when I saw it the first time, is it dragged? I felt it was dragged. I mean, we're talking about almost 3 hours of a movie, of a story of somebody that you're just trying to tell a story of somebody that falls in love with who he thinks is his love of the life, but at the same time he wants to fulfill a prophecy that he believes he's the prophecy, and you see the turn for bad. Okay? And again, and this is, I was watching it last night again, and I just couldn't help myself and see the relationship that Neo, yes, you're talking about Neo, you're talking about The Matrix has the same type of plot or story, and Star Wars, like what, and I can confirm, there's an article that I found where, yes, Star Wars was influenced by Frank Herbert's Dune. And I'm going to quote an article from comic book CBR.com. It's written by Joshua Patton. He updated this on March 24, 2024. He says, the most obvious parallel to Dune and the Star Wars prequel trilogy is how Anakin Skywalker mirrors Paul Muad'Dib Atreides. Muad'Dib is one of the many names that he gets called throughout the movie. That one's the one that means mouse desert, or desert mouse, something like that. Atreides as the chosen one. He who is no hero to the galaxy. He is not a hero. He was just a kid from an Atreides family that just survived an attack or betrayal. However, Anakin's ill-fated love, Padme Amidala, also parallels Paul's father's Leto Atreides. Both were ruling class members, but were not cruel, domineering, or greedy like their peers. This leadership style led to the eradication of House Atreides, and it's possible the Sith attempt on Senator Amidala's life came from the shared philosophy between the creators of these two universes. Right? So we see if we look at Star Wars, the prequel, the Anakin Skywalker story, how he becomes Darth Vader, as we all know, it's the same. It's the same take. You're taking a kid that came from nothing. He's no hero. He's led to believe he's the chosen one. But is he really the chosen one? And his ambition to become the chosen one leads him to this power and domination that pretty much he becomes everything that he was fighting against. And that's what I see in the movie.
Well, hold on. Like, that's not what's gonna. I don't know how it ends. Like, you kind of like talking about the end line. We're just talking about part 2. Like, this is.
No, even in part 2, at the end, like he's no longer the same Paul that we saw in part 1 and at the beginning of part 2.
Sure, like he's the kid who just like when he runs and gives that speech. Like I was dying because that's like a kid who found a dirty magazine under his dad's bed and runs into the playground to show that magazine to other kids. Like, I'm sorry, it's still the acting to me, and the plot is just we're repeating, and I agree with you. It's all the repetition of the same story. It's the one story from Neo. He even calls him the one. But if that's where it's gonna end up being, him being like this sort of Baron-esque character, then
I mean, it is. I haven't read the other books, but from what I've read from articles, that's he becomes this very powerful character through the other books, that it kind of like resembles everything that he was fighting against at the beginning of this story.
What was he fighting against? Like he was
throughout the movie, he wants to
not go south
because that's where the prophecy was telling him to go to fulfill his prophecy, his purpose.
The prophecy was written by the witches.
By the witches, exactly. That implanted it into the Fremen that believed in him, like Javier Bardem's character, right?
Yeah.
And because he saw a future where the Fremen would not survive. He leads that future. He's foreshadowing his own future. So we see this kid that is trying to fight for the Fremen. Why is he fighting for the Fremen? Because the love of his life is a Fremen. He has nothing else
He started
to fight
with them before they even got together. But I see your point. All right.
The Atreides family was not at war with the Fremen. The Harkonnens were. The Atreides were all about joining forces with the Fremen to fight the Harkonnens, which is kind of like the evil family, the Empire, right? Kind of, if you look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fighting. He wants to lead them. He wants to be that savior that they all believe in and lead them to peace, right? But we see in the third act where he goes south, he drinks the water, and he becomes this complete different person. He breaks the love of his life heart by asking for the hand of the daughter, because that is strategic best thing to do. Like, join forces with that family, because obviously the rest of the galaxy is going to be against you.
All that. Sure,
yeah.
Sure. I get all of that. It just the way we got to that part is not convincing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get all the things with that from the beginning. Like, his father died. The Emperor gave the green light to the Baron to do so. They killed all the Atreides or whatever their family name was, and their soldiers in the first part. The second part starts with Florence Pugh, Emperor diary entrance, and we kind of see it from there and the last entrance. No, I get it. It's just boring as fuck. Like, that's all I'm.
And you're not wrong. It is like, there are moments where even watching the second time, I was like, okay, this is the part where you dragged it. And like I said, no, the fight scenes are amazing. Photography is amazing.
Let me ask you with a straight face. Do you believe in that love connection between two characters? Which character, if we have to like rate the characters on their performance, how believable they were in this movie? Let's start with Timothée Chalamet. So what would you give him from 1 to 10? How believable he was as a Paul Atreides, this guy who was nothing. Now he's going to be the menace.
So Pablo says an 11. That's a reach.
Yeah,
that's a reach.
I'll give you you go first. I'll give mine after.
Listen. I don't see what Hollywood sees in Timothée Chalamet.
No,
I don't.
He should stick with Lady Bird, like movies like that. Like that's his.
They're selling him as this next in line actor, and I still cannot find a film where I can say, you know what, you have my respect. I agree with you. The King, he plays the same character in The King that he did in this movie.
I know, but he was, at least in The King, it suits him.
In fact, he was probably one emotion closer to becoming fucking Willy Wonka playing Paul Atreides in this film. I don't like him as an actor. I don't.
All right, just give it a number. Just let's put the number to this.
Solid. From a scale of 1 to 10.
As Paul Atreides.
As Paul Atreides, I give him a 4.
I mean, that's good. I'll meet you there. I'll give it.
It's because he's dating a Kardashian. That's a good one.
I'll give him a 4 as well.
All right.
On. Next, You don't want to go for the entire. Let's go for entire list.
No. I mean, bro, if we go to the entire list, we're gonna have a 3-hour long podcast.
No. It's very quick. Zendaya.
Yeah. Okay, Zendaya. I get why she is who she is.
She's Spider-Man's girlfriend.
She's got the crowd. She brings the crowd. I'm not convinced yet. Now, I don't know. There's this new movie out that came out, Challengers. Apparently, that's something. But again, from what I've seen, I'm not impressed.
You said that we don't want to do the 3-hour monologue. Just give a number.
4.
4? Jesus Christ. So I was gonna give her a 1, but I have to rethink about. There's a one scene, and it's allegedly after their intercourse with Paul. Where she's like breathing very heavily, like she's panting like very hard. He's not even breathing, like he's just relaxed. So obviously she either did all the work or she doesn't have no stamina. Because I used to run 5-mile fucking cross-country races, and I did not breathe that heavily after that race as she did after the scene. So I have to give her a 2, just like 1. I'll give her an extra point for just that scene. Brilliantly performed. So 2 out of 10. Rebecca Ferguson.
And look, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. Like, my only problem with this cast is Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. Like, I love watching the other actors in these roles.
Okay, let's just really quickly. Rebecca Ferguson.
Solid 8.
Solid 8. Agreed. Javier Bardem.
10.
11. Josh Brolin.
8.
In this movie, in this one, I'll give him a 6. He kind of didn't.
Gotcha.
Watching him, like, we waited entire movie of.
She's just a cute face with an attitude. You know,
No Country for Old Men. We never see them together. Here they are in the same room, and you just get nothing out of it. All right, your boy Austin Butler.
I'm gonna give him a solid 7.
I'll give him an 8. I think he was great. Florence Pugh.
Solid 8.
Solid 8. Agreed. Dave Bautista.
Solid 7.
I'll give him a 6.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken.
Solid 9.
Solid 9. You know what surprised me the most? That I was expecting like his lines drag, like the way he talks.
He did pretty good. Yeah.
They didn't let him do that.
They kept it simple. Because small lines. Mr. Walken, small lines, please. We don't need no cowbell, you know.
All right. Stellan Skarsgård.
Solid 10.
Solid 10. Agreed. He's just creepy. Like fucking these Finnish motherfuckers. Like something about Scandinavians just doesn't sit well with me. And just finish up with the Charlotte. Léa Seydoux.
I mean, she only has like one scene, so maybe a solid 6, if anything. But
She's
yeah.
Fine. And the Reverend Mother, Charlotte
Rampling, solid 8.
I agree with you.
She's a phenomenal actress.
So our biggest problem is the cast of 2 main characters, right? Like mainly for the acting portion.
Yeah, I mean there's so many more actors out there that I think they could have done a better job. So I agree with like their performance. So one thing I want to discuss, is that I found that the movie has symbolisms in it, and it's found in the novel, and it's portrayed drastically in this movie. And there's this article I found from Salt 106.5, is a radio station up in Salt Lake City. And there's this portion I want to quote. And it's with that storyline, anyone viewing this movie through a faith lens will see clear overlaps between Paul's position and the biblical narrative. And while not exactly like for like, Dune's 2 spiritual death adds personal relevance to the movie that some sci-fi releases lack. As people debate whether Paul is the man that they've been waiting for, or whether some of his attributes are coincidental or miraculous, there's an inviting relativity that the characters of Dune 2, the governor of Iraqi Stilgar, who's portrayed by Javier Bardem, is convinced Paul is the one and gasps in wonder that he behaves as written. Whereas Chani, who's portrayed by Zendaya, questions the origin of the prophecy and the power it gives to those who wrote it. Between the two of them, Dune 2 provides a platform to consider how the truth of a prophecy is determined, why people crave the Messiah, and the impact our beliefs have on our approach to the future.
That's pretty heavy. I just say it's on which side of the propaganda you stand. Like that's the same with faith. Like
You can believe in faith, you can not believe in faith. You're gonna defend one of the sides. Prophecies, like, again, with prophecies, I always go back to Morpheus and Oracle and Matrix. Like that just explained it perfectly. Like there's no need for any other movie to explain that concept. Just go rewatch 1999 Matrix. It's going to explain to you one blind belief of one person that this is the one, and the one believing that he's not the one until he's the one. Which, yeah, but it's been done before. I agree with you. It's there. The symbolism, everything. Yes, and it's kind of like divided south and north of the tribe of the Iraqis people. Like the south is more fundamentalists, and they all into prophecy and more into religion, where the north is like more modern society, science type of.
Yeah.
We need like material things to be proven that something is real. So yeah, like
the other two topics that I had to find some articles to just confirm what I was seeing when I was watching the movie. It's power and control. And there was this article by Alex Billington from firstshowing.net, and there's a paragraph I'm going to quote. It's like, the two main philosophical themes found within Dune Part 2 are fate/destiny. Your chosen path as an individual, how much control you have over it, and how much you just succumb to and follow it. Along with power/control, the obsessive pursuit of it, the calculus of power as referred to in the line of dialogue, and how chasing power can cause those pursuing it to lose all control or humility. And then there is, can someone wield this much extraordinary power, example, control over spice, and be good, or will the inevitable always be evil? Essentially, is oppression required in a sense to successfully exploit, sell, and manage an extremely valuable source? This is the core of Dune Part 2 overall. The opening phrase, uttered in the dark, guttural alien language before the Warner Brothers logo comes up, states, "Power over spice is power over all." Yes, this means that power and control are intertwined, and there really is no way to control the spice without having away too much power. There's even a moment in this movie where Paul quietly mutters that he is not worried about gaining control over Iraqis. He is worried about having too much power, and this power will corrupt him. Let's not forget the classic quote, "Power tends to corrupt, absolute power corrupts absolutely," stated by British historian Lord Acton. Even on Earth, it seems to be an absolute truth, though it's extended in the Dune universe. It does make you wonder, is there really any way Paul could gain enough power to free the Fremen and Arrakis and not be corrupted by that?
Sure. He can just fire them nukes that he promised and fucking destroy the spice.
And then, obviously, there's a line in the movie where Chani just chants all along, this prophecy is how they enslave us.
I don't think their life is so beautiful as it is. I mean, I'm not gonna like shit on Fremen. Like, they live in caves, they ride worms, they drink their piss, and yeah, I don't know how much is enslaving that can be done. They already been their planet been harvested for decades or centuries.
I mean, aren't they already enslaved because they're believing on this prophecy?
Well, plus that, I mean, everybody, you can say every one of us is enslaved to some degree. Like, not a single human can survive without support. At least nowadays, like you get dropped in Amazon, fucking 3 days, you're dead. Like, we enslave through our air conditioning, through our comfort of communication, transportation, like amenities, like. Yeah, like at least that I'm saying Americans. Maybe other nations have it a little bit easier, but I don't know. Enslaving, in nowadays sense, it's a big word. But you're right. Like, with big power comes big responsibility. We already talked about it. So, but the more power you get, the more you want. Like, it's that drive never stops. From my understanding, I mean, I don't have no power. Well, electricity, but that's about it. So. It's hard to tell like how people behave in that scenarios, but we can look at the historic facts and just people who live among us with power,
Mhm.
per se. Who, like, I mean, you can look to the west, you can look to the east. Those fuckers don't want to give up. Like, I know a guy who just got like another 6 years in power. Actually, his inauguration was today, and he's been in power for 23 years already. So yeah, they don't want to give it up. They just want more.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And you can look at the United States. Yeah, all the companies who have power, they just want more power. They consume smaller companies. They just grow and grow, and monopoly just grows bigger, and we get we get screwed. So that's kind of my take on all of that. But you're right. You have another one for us?
No, I mean that's it. I think we can. Any final thoughts on Dune Part 2 that you want to?
Don't watch it. Fuck this movie. Like it's a waste of resources. Like it's an attraction park where after the movie is over, after the ride is over, your balls are blue. Like it's just fucking bad. I mean, I'm saying it's a disappointment in such a, like, it's like a beautiful girl, but when you start talking to her, like, her IQ is like 30. Like, I don't know. Like, it's
all right. I mean, those are your thoughts.
What about you? What, you looking forward to the third, the fourth, the fifth?
Hell yeah, I am, bro. I'm invested. You know, listen. My only problem with the movie is Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. I don't believe in them and their characters.
I'm pretty sure
but
they fucking stay till the end.
You know, but I am all on board for Dune Messiah. I mean, that's the third one that, you know, Denis has started writing already, and obviously he said that as long as the studio approves his draft, he'll do it because he doesn't want nobody else taking away his baby. Because I mean, you said it. This is his baby, you know.
This is a little kid playing with his toys.
Like, this is kind of like, you know, every director has a passion project, and this is Denis Villeneuve's passion project. You know,
yeah, but you get one passion project. You don't get fucking 5 episodes of it.
Well, he's smart because he took that passion project and he divided it into 2 parts. Don't watch it. Thanks for the tip. I won't waste my time watching it. See, you got people following you already. They believe in you already. There you go. You got one. You got one. There you go.
Gross. Thank you so much. Don't wait. Just waste an hour with us. Don't waste 2.5 hours in the studio.
There you go. We're kind of like the Cliff Notes for Doom Part 2 and Doom Part 1. We'll probably be the Cliff Notes for Doom Messiah if we're still doing this, but whenever that time comes. My thoughts is I enjoy the film. I enjoy the first one. I read the book. I think it's one of those books you appreciate it. If you didn't, you're not going to like it. You're going to feel lost. You don't know what you're watching. There's too much to follow around, and you're gonna get bored. I think that's just the fault that this movie has. Despite that, it still made money in the box office, and I think everybody
loves it. Like, besides me, there's 8 point and
I'll be honest with you. I think it just comes down to
no competition.
True. And the cast. You know, you have us. You and I may not like Timothée Chalamet. He has a following.
So does Zendaya.
Okay, so you and I, or anybody else has grown watching movies and loves movie, knows Josh Brolin, knows Javier Bardem, knows Stellan Skarsgård. Like, we watched this movie for them, but other people are watching for Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya.
But in the same aspect, Florence Pugh is in the same generational kind of like actor.
She is, but look at her background though. She's done movies that you can say, so I respect her.
So, like, they both, aren't they both from Britain? And they both.
No, Timothy's he's American.
He's American.
Yeah.
Then. Zendaya is American too, right?
She is American. Yeah.
All right. You see the British school, like these. All the foreigners.
Hey, I respect the British actors are amazing. You know,
and Australian ones.
Yeah, they're just something else. Cool. All right. I think it's time to wrap up. That's my thought.
Next?
Hey, man, we're doing next. We're gonna do this again.
No, I'm saying what movie we're doing next.
I know. Can you let me finish, Dan? God damn it, man! I did not miss this at all.
Yeah, you did.
You know, just for that, we're gonna keep it in the sand theme, just because you love sand.
What are you talking about?
Next week, Tuesday, same time, 9 p.m., through all these streaming channels. This movie is celebrating its 25th anniversary. It came out in a year that I consider one of the best years in cinema, 1999. It launched this actor to a bigger stardom that we all know him and grew up loving. I'm talking about 1999's The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser.
I thought you were going to say Star Wars fucking Phantom Menace.
No, but that was also released in 1999.
I know. That's why I hate sand. Fucking.
I hate sand, but that's actually from Attack of the Clones. Original versus remake. No, we can't discuss the remake. Tom Cruise Mummy's remake is not worth.
That's not even a remake. It's just.
That's garbage. Thanks for the idea, but no, we're not doing that. We're gonna talk about the good stuff.
We say this, but we're not that. We don't.
Yeah, we
hurt
kind
each
of
other that much. Like,
yeah, we want to keep this going. We don't want to end up with a bad taste. We're gonna do another movie. Let's do this since we have an audience. Okay.
We let them pick.
Let them pick. Okay, one of you, those who are watching us, throw a movie. We did The Crow though. We did.
When The Crow comes out, he wants to do the remake.
The remake version. We can analyze the remake.
We do the remake.
We'll do the remake of The Crow when it comes out.
I need a reason to watch that garbage.
Anybody that's watching us, throw a movie that you want us to analyze, and we'll do that. I mean, we got some viewers in here. I got some live comment coming up. Oh boy, Miracle! There you go.
Why you have to hurt me like that, man? Like,
for those who don't know the reference to Miracle, please Google it, and you'll understand why.
Do I have to do it now?
I mean, we got some Mummy. We got a couple of people voting for the Mummy.
I don't know.
All right, say it. Going once, going twice. Well, I think we're doing the Mummy.
Well, we're doing the Mummy for sure, but like there was then there's the Crow remake and
yeah, we'll do the Crow remake, which that will be more closely to August. That's when the movie's getting released.
Honestly,
let's do one more. Like somebody give us one more movie that we can do after the Mummy. That way we have something to.
I'll talk Miracle with you.
You want? Do you really want to watch Miracle?
No, but like just actually now I hate the Russians too. So like fuck it. Well, not the Russians, but like the.
I mean, no disrespect, but is Miracle a movie that's like worth breaking down? Oh, hold on. Okay, Shawshank Redemption. Okay, that's a possibility. We can do Shawshank Redemption. All right, well, let's pin that one. I think Shawshank Redemption is a good option. But next Tuesday, 9 p.m., we're going to be talking about The Mummy, celebrating its 25th anniversary of a movie that I happened to see in theaters growing up twice. I love the movie. Oh, hold on. We've got Kill Bill.
Just because I couldn't afford movie ticket, like, don't have to rub it in my face.
Hey, I think Adrian's onto something. I think we should do a Tarantino film after The Mummy.
Have we done a Tarantino film yet?
We did Reservoir Dogs. That was the last Tarantino movie we did.
Kill Bill, yeah.
I think Kill Bill's a good one. We'll do Volume 1. I think Volume 1's the best one.
We can do both of them, no?
You want to do a double movie? The double movie? Yeah? Okay.
It's our world. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so after The Mummy, the third episode of this new season, we're gonna break down Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. We'll do that for our audience that actually came and joined us. So thank you so much for supporting us.
Thank you so much.
We weren't expecting to do this. We sat down, we talked, and we missed it. So we kind of like, well, let's bring this back. I'm excited to.
Don't listen. I was bribed into this. Like, I'm getting paid for this.
No,
in Thanksgiving dinners.
Thanksgiving dinner, Easter dinners, Christmas dinners. All right, team. I do want to remind everybody that in no shape or form, Alex and I are movie experts. We did not go to school for this. We just enjoy film so much.
Nobody goes to school for this.
There's actually a career for this, sir. We just enjoy film so much that we want to share our views with everybody. We are entitled to our opinions as everybody else. So if you don't like our opinions, then so be it. Just leave your comment with your thoughts. But I just want to emphasize that. Ooh, The Wrestler.
The Wrestler.
Now, if we're gonna,
this guy's up to something.
That's my buddy Adrian over there. Hey, The Wrestler. Now, if we're gonna talk Wrestler, we should also talk about the Iron Claw. Prometheus.
Oh, I'm gonna hate on that movie so much. Thank you. Yes.
There you go. We got a list. So we got We'll do the Mummy. We'll do Kill Bill Volume 2. I think Prometheus should be the next one after Kill Bill.
Okay, somebody write it down. Oh, actually, we can rewatch this.
Yeah. So let's do those 3. Iron Claw. We're definitely gonna break down Iron Claw. That was an amazing movie. We should definitely break down Iron Claw.
Iron Claw 2 for Iron Claw.
We got a couple wrestling fans in there. I know my people over there.
I know nothing about wrestling, but Iron Claw was.
I think we got a list, people. Thank you so much for that. We will talk about all those. You guys gave us some really good options. So next week, The Mummy. Come back and see us. We'll be live at 9 p.m. ish. I know we were a little behind. We had some technical difficulties from my end, but we figured it out.
Don't rope me into this.
God damn it. Okay, all right. Let's call it a wrap because this guy's about to piss me off, and we're gonna have to cancel the show once again. I'm just kidding, people. Thank you again for supporting us. Reminder to follow us on social media at MovieByte Podcast on Facebook, at MovieByte.byte at Instagram, at MovieByte Podcast in YouTube. Share, like, favorite your video, subscribe, leave comments. We are open to feedbacks in a way that we can improve or make this even fun for you guys. Again, thank you. We will be doing this a lot more. We miss you. We miss this. Again, thank you. All right, and with that, say till next time.